Hello and
Yes, sir.
good morning to you all. And I hope that you have a very good morning. And today, as you can see, we are going to talk about what is linguistics. In our previous class, we discussed about the very basic understanding or definition of language and also several features of language. Now, today we will move on to a second topic, which is very important because our basic understanding about linguistics will start from here. And with this knowledge, we will move on to some advanced kind of discussion about linguistics, its types, and its scopes. So here, as you can see on the screen, this is the very title, what is linguistics? So first, we will try to explore some basic definition and with some general ideas about linguistics. If you take a look at the screen, as you can see, here it says that linguistics is a growing and interesting area of study, having a direct hearing on fields as diverse as education, anthropology, sociology, language teaching, cognitive psychology, and philosophy. So you see the growing and interesting area of study. Actually, for the last, you can say, after 1940s and especially after 1950s, after that, actually, linguistics as a department, as a discipline, it is developing day by day. And now and today, actually, linguistics itself is a complete department, and itself is a science. It's a scientific department, as you can say, because it deals with the study of language very much scientifically. And linguistics, it has become some kind of interdisciplinary subject because you can find the sociology is connected with it, education is connected with it. We can also find relevance with anthropology, also language teaching. So all these things, and even psychology, cognitive psychology especially, and of course and obviously philosophy is also there. So without this, considering linguistics as a separate entity, it's impossible. So you can see all these subjects together, they are working together to develop this or to they're contributing together to have this discipline or for the development of the discipline that is linguistics. And even as a linguist, if you try to understand linguistics without having any knowledge, at least in present days, without having any knowledge about anthropology, sociology, language teaching or education, your learning or your knowledge about linguistics, it will remain incomplete. So for the completion of the knowledge or for the complete understanding of linguistics, we must also have an understanding of all these fields of knowledge. Even if it is not possible to understand them completely, but some basic understanding of these subjects that will help us to have a better understanding about linguistics. Now, then what is linguistics? Now, here it says that fundamentally it is concerned with the nature of language and communication. So, nature of language and communication. These two things, they're basically these two things are discussed in linguistics. One is language and the one is communication. So, the nature of language. So, what will be the nature of language? How it will be? So, you see the features of language we discussed in our last class. So, all those things actually will also come under this very banner that is linguistics. And communication, indeed, that is the one of the key components of linguistics. Now, here in this slide, as you can see, I have put some very important definitions about linguistics given by different linguists. The first definition, as you can see on the screen, it says that linguistics observes language in action as a means for determining how language has developed, how it functions today, and how it is currently evolving. So, linguistics observes language in action as a means for determining how language has developed. So, it's a kind of observation. Linguistics actually it observes, it's a kind of observation about the development of the language. It's a very interesting definition and very basic definition. So language in action. So how actually we are using language? How is it improving? How is it developing? So the history or the application of the language. All these things actually are discussed in linguistics. So has developed how it functions today, and also the very much practical, I mean, functions of the language that is also discussed in the linguistics, and how actually it is evolving. So you can see the evolution of language. It is also a part of linguistics. Now, if we focus on the second definition, that linguistics is concerned with the nature of human language how linguistics is concerned with the nature of human language, how it is learned, and what part it plays in the life of the individual and the community. So, what is it concerned with? It is concerned with the nature of human language. So, I mean, the characteristics or features or traits of the human language. That is one of the main concerns of linguistics. And also how language is learned, how we learn the language. So the development of the language or the evolution of the language is also discussed here. And what part it plays in the life of individual and the community. Now, when this you can see in this part of the definition what part it plays in the life of the individual and the community. This is pretty interesting. See, usually we only think that linguistics means the very definitions of linguistics and some of the fields, but when actually you come to this part, this later part of the definition, you can see the society, the community. So all these things are also part of the linguistics. So I have already mentioned that sociology, so that is also part of the linguistics, and anthropology also, that is also part of linguistics, because we have anthropological linguistics, it is there, and social linguistics is also there. So they are two different fields. So from this very definition, actually, it is giving that inkling or that hint for the development of linguistics, that what part it plays in the life of the individual. So I'm an individual, I'm a person. So what kind of, you can say, the influence does it have on me? That means, does my language influence my concepts? Does my language influence my understanding? Does my language influence my comprehension? So this is a matter that will be, or this is an issue which will be discussed in linguistics. And also the community. We're living in a community, and in isolation of the community, actually, you cannot survive. We cannot survive. So as a social being, we have to participate in the community. And when actually we are participating in the community, we are participating through language. So our medium is language. We are using language to communicate with the other people, those who are living in the same community. So that's why you can see that society, it plays an important role, or it influences our language. Or I mean, on the other hand, we can also say that language also, it influences the society, the structure of the society. So there we can see the how actually language influences an individual and his thought process and his concept, and also how community actually influences his language, or the language actually influences the community. These things are discussed in linguistics. So it's a huge thing. It's a very broad kind of, I mean, you can say, the field of knowledge, and that's why actually we need to have some basic ideas about all those different fields, those are connected with this linguistics that I've already mentioned, like cognitive psychology or psychology, philosophy, history, and even sociology, all these fields of knowledge. Now, here in this slide, you can see another definition, or rather, I should say that it's a kind of, I mean, thought-provoking questions, not exactly the definition. But here it says that linguistics tries to answer two basic questions. Okay, if dear students, if you don't need the microphone, please just keep it on the mute mode. Okay. Linguistics tries to answer two basic questions. One is, what is language, and how does language work? The same thing that we actually tried to explore with the help of two previous definitions. He has actually mentioned those things. That what is language? That will be the concern, one of the concerns of linguistics. And how does language work? That means the functions of language. So one is the nature of language, another one is the functions of language. That is linguistics. Okay. Now, the scientific study of human language is called linguistics. That is Fromkin and Rodman from that book. You can see. So he is saying that Sabrina, could you please just mute it, Sabrina? Okay, thank you. The scientific study of human language is called linguistics. So from this definition now you can say that linguistics, actually, it is a scientific study of human language. This is a science. So linguistics is a science. It is a science. So it has improved or developed as a science because we need to apply different kinds of empirical methods, or also we have to adopt different kinds of scientific approaches to understand the linguistic developments, its usage, and its natures, all these things. So that's why it has become a science. Now we call it the scientific study of human language is called linguistics. This is the most basic and oft-quoted definition of linguistics. So please try to remember it, which has been given by Fromkin. The scientific study of human language is called linguistics. Now, here, if you just take a look at this screen, as you can see, that linguistics is the scientific study of language. By these, we mean language in general, not a particular language. If we are concerned with studying an individual language, we would say, I'm studying French or English, or whichever language we happen to be studying. But linguistics doesn't study an individual language, it studies language in general. That is linguistics, according to Robbins, as he says. That means we don't only actually we are not concerned about an individual's language. We try to consider language, I mean, collectively. So it's not only an individual, but say a cluster of individuals, a group of individuals. Their linguistic development actually will focus on. Okay. So on the basis of that, Robbins actually he said about it, about linguistics, he says saying that linguistics is concerned with human language as a universal and recognizable part of the human behavior and of the human faculties, perhaps one of the most essential to human life as we know it, and one of the most far-reaching of human capabilities in relation to the whole span of of mankind's achievements. So it's concerned with human language as a universal and recognizable part of the human behavior. So actually, it studies human behavior. It's concerned with human behavior. Again, universal human behavior. And that human behavior is recognizable. You can recognize them. And of the human faculties. It also studies human faculties, our mentalities, our temperaments, our psychology. Perhaps one of the most essential to human life as we know it. And this is one of the most essential things to understand human behavior. And one of the most far-reaching of human capabilities in relation to the whole span of mankind's achievements. So you see, understanding human behavior. So he's saying that our linguistic capacity or capabilities, these are actually our linguistic competences or preferences. Actually, these are actually a kind of human behavior, and they are the part of the human faculty. So you can see these very definition of linguistics is very much, you can say, very much scientific, and at the same time, it emphasizing on the, I mean, you can see the behavioral evolution of human, or you can say the human behavior, and also human mind, that is psychology. So from this definition, if you just take it bit by bit, or if you break it down, so you can understand it that how actually linguistics is scientific, we can understand it very easily from this definition. Now here you see, then what is linguistics actually it is referring, and also we can, if you take the word morphological analysis, then we can understand by linguistics in this way, that linguistics refers to the scientific study of language that is given by Rodman, Fromkin and Rodman. Now, the word linguistics is derived from the Latin words lingua. Lingua means tongue, tongue that we use to talk. And sticks means knowledge. So tongue and knowledge, that means the knowledge of language. So here tongue actually it means language. And sticks, that is means knowledge. So the knowledge of language, that is linguistics. Interesting, okay? Now, according to Cambridge Dictionary, then what is linguistics? Now, linguistics refers to the scientific study of the structure and development of language in general, or of particular languages. The study of linguistics comes from the natural curiosity of man about the particulars of the language he speaks, evaluated through different perspectives. Very interesting definition given by Cambridge Dictionary. So you see, it's a scientific study of the structure and development of language in general, or of particular languages. So it may be a scientific study of the structure and development of Bangla language. It may be a scientific study of the structure and development of English language or French language. So you see, in this way. So the scientific study of structure and the development of a particular language or languages. So the study of linguistics come from the natural curiosity of man about the particulars of the language he speaks. So the language we speak, that is the we are curious about our own language. We try to understand our own language. We try to find out that the very you can see the deep structure. We try to find out the surface structure of language. So this curiosity actually it helps us to understand the language very well. And how do you do it? We try to analyze language from different perspectives, then we try to evaluate, and then we try to generalize some structures, and then we try to understand them. So through these process, actually, we have an understanding, a basic understanding of the language. So this is the definition given by Cambridge Dictionary, and I think it's a workable definition of Cambridge Dictionary, so we can use it for our understanding of linguistics. It's a very I mean, this definition itself is well defined. But according to Ferdinand de Saussure, he is a linguist, a philosopher, a structuralist. So he said that one of the most famous, a French structuralist, Ferdinand de Saussure, and also he's a philosopher. So he said that one of the most famous linguists, he said that a linguistic system is a series of differences of sound combined with a series of differences of ideas. So you see how interesting this definition is. A linguistic system is a series of differences of sound. So you see, I am uttering different kinds of sounds, and you see these are a series of differences of sounds. So different kinds of sounds we're using, and these different kinds of sounds, they're combined with a series of differences of ideas. So different kinds of sounds are combined with different kinds of ideas. So here actually he has introduced a new idea, that is idea, concept. So language is not only sound, it is also idea and concept. So that is his definition, that a linguistic system is a series of differences of sound combined with a series of differences of ideas. So ideas and sounds, they're combined together. Now, uh, actually, we don't have enough time with this session. So what I will do, I will request you to come back to this session, clicking on the same link. And in that session, inshallah, we will also discuss about different types of linguistics. And also we'll have more about the definition of linguistics in our coming session, okay? Dear students. All right.